a lot of, I need to read this book, because I do. Hello everybody, my name is Kelsey, and we're about to get very, very nerdy with all of the series that I'm reading. So I went through all of the books, and I figured since I'm trying to read a lot more sequels this year, or continuations of series that I'm doing, trying to wrap up as many series as I can. I feel like I'm in the middle of a lot of them. But I thought I would show you kind of the series that I'm currently reading. I've never done a, series video before, so I'm doing everything, like not just the ones I'm planning on continuing reading, just kind of like everything that I'm in the middle of right now, and explaining my plans on the future of them. I'm not including any series that I'm in the middle of because I'm rereading them or anything like that. These are just series that I'm reading for the very first time. So I've got a lot to talk about, so let's just get started. Now these are in absolutely no particular order except for how they were on my shelves, so they're kind of genreized a little bit, but not a whole lot. But the first one that I have to talk about is the School for Good and Evil series by Snowman Shinani. I have the first one, the second one, A World Without Princes, and the third one, The Last Ever After. Now, there are 6 books in this series. 5 are out. The 6th one is coming out in the summer. I believe it is June. And I've only got the first 3, but I've only read the first one and absolutely loved it. It was my favorite book of 2019, and I'm hoping to read the second one this month. I'd love to read one a month until we get to summer for when I can, get the 6th one out. I don't know if the 6th one is going to be the last one that he writes in this series. I honestly don't know that whole lot about that, but it's definitely the next one that's coming in the series. And this is just a middle grade series that I just fell in love with. The next series that I have to talk about is the Missing series by Margaret Peterson Haddix, and that contains the first one, which is Found, Sent, Sabotaged, Torn, Caught, Risked, Revealed, and Redeemed. So there are 8 books in this series, and I am currently on the second one. So this series is just a fun sci-fi thriller middle grade series that my husband really enjoyed the first of, and so he bought the entire series. And like I said, I'm in the second one right now, and I'm very much enjoying it. It's very thriller-y, it's very sci-fi-y. It's just, it's not what you expect. This is a series that I definitely need to continue. There are 8, so I do have quite a lot to go, but maybe one a month, one every couple months. We'll see how the second one ends to see how into it I am. The next series that I want to talk about is the Narnia series. Now this is a series of 7 books. They're all very tiny, but it consists of The Magician's Nephew, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, The Horse and His Boy, Prince Caspian, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, The Silver Chair, and The Last Battle. Now, I have personally read the first 3, and I really enjoyed the first one. That was I loved that one so much. And then the second one, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, everyone knows about because of the movie. So, I've read that one a handful of times. And then The Horse and His Boy is one that I read and didn't love, and so I didn't continue with the series. But the next one is Prince Caspian, and that's the second movie that came out. So I'm really intrigued to see where it goes. I've only got 4 books left in this series. Sorry, they're super shiny. The light is being mean to them. But they're super short and, don't take too long. So I'm hoping I can use them for, readathons in the future, or when I need a really short book between things, because I am intrigued by how this world continues. But I think this one not being so great really kind of, hindered me trying to read the series. And to finish off my middle grade, let's just do them all at once, is the Peter and the Starcatcher series. Now the first one is Peter and the Starcatchers, Peter and the Shadow Thieves, Peter and the Secrets of Run Dune, Peter and the Sword of Mercy. Now there is a 5th one, but it's really odd, and I think it's part of the series, but it's also not part of the series. And that is The Bridge to Neverland. I think this follows a set of different characters. I've read the very first one, and I did start the second one technically, but I haven't really done anything beyond that. But I did really enjoy the first one, so I do want to continue with the series. I mean, these books are gorgeous. I love them, and I like their writing style. It's very humorous. but it's not one that like I'm desperate I need to read right away. It's one that like I want to finish at some point, and I'm okay taking my time to get to the end. The next series that I have to talk about is the Simon Snow series, which is Carry On and Wayward Son. Now, I have read both of these, and there is a third one that is coming out this year, maybe? It's coming out at some point. So I do want to read that one. So I'm up to date on this series as far as publication-wise. I didn't absolutely love this series. I'm intrigued by some of the characters. I love the character of Baz, which I've talked about a lot. And like he's the reason I continue to read this story. Yeah, like I'm intrigued, and I would love to read the next one when it does come out, because the second one kind of left off on like a big cliffhanger. But I'm actually up to date on the series, which makes me very, very happy. But if you like Harry Potter, this is very, very similar to that world and the world of magic and Hogwarts and things like that. And it does have some LGBTQ rep in here, so that is fun, and I do live for that relationship. Another one that I'm actually up to date on is Serpent and Dove by Shelby McCurran. The second one, Blood and Honey, I want to say, is coming out later this year. Now, this is a story about a hate-to-love romance where one is a witch and one is a witch hunter. So, like, there's a lot that goes on in this book. It has definitely have a lot of mixed reviews. I've seen a lot of people who really, really don't like this book. I love hate-to-love romance, so, like, I was all for this. But I'm actually up to date on this one, and I would love for the second one. When it comes out this year, it'll definitely be in my collection. Like, I loved it so much. The next series is one that I'm not even going to hold up because it's my Philippa Gregory Tudor England, Plantagenet England series. Now, it's not a real series in that you have to read them in order, you have to read them all for it to make sense. It is just a collection of 15 books that all take place in the same kind of time period and with the same people. Now, I've been reading them in the order that she suggests that you read them. I am about 7 in, so I've got 8 more to go, and it's just a very dense historical fiction book because it's based in a lot of real history. Philippa Gregory is a huge historian, so she has definitely done her digging with these worlds and with the people in them. So it's very politically driven because it is, you know, in kind of the royal aspect of that time period. So you have to enjoy political, you know, books. You have to enjoy really complex stories, and history is really the big things. And I love this time period in history, so I want to keep reading them, but it's not one of those that like I need to read right away. It's just one that like every now and then I'd like to pick up one. But the next series is one that I'm also caught up on, and I'm waiting for the next one to come out this year, and that is the Lady Janie's series. The first one is My Lady Jane, and the second one is My Plain Jane, and these are by Cynthia Hand, Brody Ashton, and Jody Meadows. Now, these are just their fun fantasy retellings of stories. So My Lady Jane follows the Queen of England. What was her name? Lady Jane Grey. She was Queen of England for like 9 days and then got beheaded. They didn't like that. They decided to retell her story. And then My Plain Jane is just a fun retelling of Jane Eyre. And the third one that comes out is My Calamity Jane, and that follows like a Wild West Jane in America. And they're just very, very humorous. I love their writing style. I love the way that they give their opinions on like what's going on. They break the fourth wall a lot because they kind of talk to the reader directly, which is really, really fun. So I am up to date on the series, but I want the third one. Ow! But I want the third one like now, and it doesn't come out until like the second half of the year, I think. But like I like their writing style. I think they write really, really well together. The next series is a middle grade graphic novel series that I actually don't have any copies of, but it is the Witch Boy series. I've read the first 2, and the third one came out last year sometime, and like it's one that I have enjoyed while I was reading it, but like I'm not the target audience for it, so I don't love it, but like I do enjoy it while I'm reading, and the art style is beautiful. I think that's really why I continue reading these series. But I'd like to get to the last one because I've read 2 out of the 3, and I am intrigued by like where the story goes from that one. But this basically takes place in a world where this boy is part of a tribe, and if you are a boy, you are a shapeshifter, and if you are a girl, then you can do magic. But he actually is learning how to do magic and can do magic, and people are like, no, you're a boy, you can't do magic, that's not your thing. And so it just kind of like tests the bounds of like what's the society appropriate thing for men and women to do. So I think it's really interesting. It has like an interesting message underneath it for kids, and I'd like to get around to it, but I'm like in no rush to do so. The next series that I'm in the middle of is one that I've only read the first book of, but I don't think I'm going to pick up the second one, and that is Mirage by Samaya Daoud. This is basically about a fantasy world where the monarchs are really, really mean, and this girl is like the doppelganger for the princess, and so she gets kidnapped and taken to the palace and basically forced to be this princess, so that the princess doesn't have to go out and do things, because like everybody hates her and it's really dangerous for her to be out in the public, so they make this girl do it. It was good. Like, I enjoyed myself while I was reading it. I enjoyed the romantic aspects of it. I enjoyed the world aspects of it. But like the first one, like it was okay. Like I don't even remember a lot about what happened because it was so, like, it was another fantasy book. Like that's really kind of what it felt like to me. So I don't think I'll continue with this unless the premise of the second one does sound really, really interesting. But like, it was good, but it wasn't great. So I think I'm going to stop here. Another one that kind of falls similar to that, and that is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. This is the first in this series. Her second one, Children of Vengeance and Virtue, I believe, is already out. And I do have the audiobook on Audible, and I think I might give it a shot at some point. But like, I don't have any desire to buy the book. I don't really have any desire. Like, I feel like I'm so removed from this story that like, I forgot so much that happens in this book that I feel like I need to reread this one to get to the second one. But like, when I was reading it, I definitely remember enjoying it a lot. I just don't remember a lot. It's a little forgettable for me, and I don't know if that's just because it's such a chunky book and it's such a high fantasy. So I think I would enjoy going back and reading the second one at some point, but it's not like one that I need to read right now. The next one is also one that I don't own, and that is the Nevermore series. Now this is a middle grade series that is very kind of like goofy, and I guess I consider this one like maybe a fantasy, maybe a sci-fi, but I've only read the first one, Nevermore. The second one is out and I cannot remember the name, and the third one, Hollowpox, I believe is what it's called. It's coming out this year. So I definitely enjoyed my time reading the first one. I think the problem was it was compared to Harry Potter, so I was expecting a lot of like magic, but what they were comparing was the way that they felt reading it, not the subject matter itself. And so I was a little disappointed when I read the first one, because I was expecting all of these Harry Potter things and nothing was happening. But I did really, really enjoy the first one. I would like to continue with that one at some point. It's another one that like, I'm okay if I'm not reading it right away, but I would like to finish it at some point in the future. The next series is the Bells series. The first one is The Bells, and the second one is The Everlasting Rose by Danielle Clayton. Now, I've only read the first one. I do have the second one. I have the ARC because I got it at YALLFest in 2018, I think, and I still haven't read it. So, I need to. The third one is coming out in 2020 at some point, so I would love to read that before it comes out, because like, I just want to know what my feelings are because I love the first one so much, and this one came out in March, so it's been like 11 months since it came out and I still haven't read it, and it's like not super big, so like I couldn't get through it. I just need to do it. The next one is one that I'm ashamed still to this day that I have not read, because it's literally a duology. I have both of the books. I've read the first one. I loved it. It was one of my favorite books of 2018 when I read it, and I still have not read the sequel, and I just dropped it. And that is Heart of Iron and the sequel Soul of Stars by Ashley Poston. Now this is a Anastasia type retelling set in space. So I got this one in Owl Crate, so I totally picked it up on a whim just because it sounded cool, and I loved it. And then I pre-ordered the second one, and I still haven't read it. So I definitely need to get to this one really, really quickly because I enjoyed the first one so much. So like, why haven't I finished it? I have the entire series. It's not like a very long series. It's literally 2 books, and I'm halfway through. The next one is a book that I don't have anymore, and that is The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. I got it relatively soon after it came out, and I read it relatively soon after it came out, and I thought it was okay. There wasn't anything amazing about it. I didn't love the story. I was confused a lot at the time. But the sequel, The Country Something, I think is coming out this year or is already out. And like, I have no desire to pick it up because I didn't enjoy the first one that much. Like, it was okay, and I didn't love it, and I kind of, like, wanted to get rid of the book the minute I finished it because, like, it was meh. And so, like, I have no desire to finish the second one, so that's another one that I'm not going to continue with. The next series is one that I'm not entirely sure I know the correct title of the actual series, but it is the Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue series, and then the sequel, The Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy, and then the third one, which is like the Nobleman's Guides to Scoundrels and Scandal or something. And that's coming out this year. I have finished the Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue like in 2018, I want to say. And as of recording this, I am like 25% of the way through this one and very much enjoying it. So I'm making my way through it, but I have not finished the series as far as what I've owned. And the third one is coming out in 2020 to some time, and I want to read that one. So this is another series that I would like to continue. I am intrigued by where this is going, so I thought it was just a one and done thing, and then all of a sudden we were getting a second one, and now we're getting more, and I'm very excited about it. So I need to finish this one so that I can be ready for the next one when it comes out, because this is awesome and I love it. And the last series that I'm going to talk about here is a graphic novel series that I don't believe has been finished. At least I hope not, because the end of the last one was a lot. But I have seen literally nothing about the next book, and that, whoa, is the Saga series. There are 9 volumes out right now, and I've read all of them, and I love them, and I want to know what's going to happen next. And like I said, there is a huge, huge cliffhanger at the end of the 9th one, and like I need to know what's going to happen, because like nothing's been solved. So it's basically like Romeo and Juliet in space. It's really interesting because this entire series is from like the kid's perspective, but like in the first novel it is literally being born. So you get him as the narrator narrating his parents / his life, which is really interesting. But I really, really enjoyed this. It gets you sucked in like really quickly, and like the art style is really cool, and it's just really interesting, and obviously I liked it because I have all 9 volumes. Like I said, I don't know if they're going to continue beyond the 9th one. God, I hope so, because what an ending if that's how they end it. But like I said, I've heard nothing about when or if that's going to happen. But like, I really, really hope so, which is why I'm putting it on this list. Those are all the series that I have to show you guys today that I'm currently in the middle of. I'm sure I forgot some. There was a couple on this list that I realized when I wrote this list I was in the middle of, but have now since finished. So it's a good day. But let me know of any series that you guys are in the middle of. If you've heard or read any of the books in this video, let me know. I would love to chat with you guys down below. But as always, if you like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you want to be part of this awesome growing family. And I will see you guys in my next video.